Alright, so now it is February, and February is Oscar month, so we're going to talk about some Best Picture winners of the past. I was going to do one for each decade, and I was going to do Gone with the Wind for the 1930s, but I couldn't find it at the library. So we're just skipping to the 40s, and we're going to go from there. Our first movie is Casablanca. Came out in 1942, won Best Picture in 43. Stars Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman. And those two are two of the biggest actors and actresses of the of that time. They're basically like Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence of today. So you have like probably the two biggest stars in the same movie. And I have to say, these two did really good jobs in this movie. I think everyone in this movie, the acting was great. And for some reason in older movies, like 30s and 40s and kind of the 50s, acting wasn't very good. I think it was because they were still not used to doing it the way they do with film. They were used to like the stage, like theater, and so things were a lot more overdramatic and stuff. And so you kind of get used to that in older movies. But here the acting is really good. And they bring their characters to life, and and not just those two, like I said, like everyone in the movie I think did a really good job. So basically what the movie's about is this guy, Humphrey Bogart, owns a nightclub, and this girl who he had a thing with back in Paris, and then but she left him, and now he's kind of mad at her. She comes back to this town where he's at to help get this guy to America. And anyways, I won't tell too much about the story, but it's a pretty interesting story, really. And before I watched this, I didn't know too much about it. I knew it was like a romance movie, and I don't mind watching them as long as they're good, but I'm a 16-year-old guy, and so that's not really what I'm into. But this movie, that wasn't really the main focus. It wasn't just like the cliche love story, whatever. It wasn't even really a huge thing in the movie. It was a main point, but it wasn't throughout the whole thing. And it wasn't the sappy love story type thing. It was actually most of it. You seeing them, they were actually kind of mad at each other. So I think that can actually make it watchable for a lot more people. But yeah, this movie, there's nothing about it that I really saw that I'm like, that is amazing. But I can understand why people call it one of the greatest films of all time. It's usually in the top 10. It didn't blow me away, but it was definitely, a good solid hour, 48 minutes that I could watch. The acting was good, the characters were good, it had an interesting story. I thought they did some nice camera work, because at that time, most movies were kind of just shot like the same way. Dialogue was kind of boringly filmed, but Citizen Kane really changed that. They did really different things. In this movie, you still kind of see just reverse shot a lot, but also you see like this one really cool shot where the guy's talking, and then to the other guy, but he's off screen, but you can see his shadow, and I think that shot looked really cool. And there's one where they're shooting through a staircase, and they tried to mix it up, and because the whole movie is basically dialogue, and it's great dialogue, by the way. But they at least try to keep it interesting, not just have the same boring shot the whole movie. But yeah, I can see why people call it one of the greatest movies of all time, because it holds up really well. Like I said about It's a Wonderful Life. Movies like that, movies like, It's a Wonderful Life, Citizen Kane, like Casablanca, you can watch them today, and they're not cheesy. Because there's lots of old movies where it's kind of cheesy. Like the editing is kind of cheesy, the acting is really cheesy, the dialogue is cheesy. You know, it's like okay, whatever. But here it just holds up really well. Um, there was never ever a part in the movie where I was like, oh, that's so fakey and no one talks like that, or oh, that doesn't look right. It's all really good. So I'll give it like a 8.5 and 9. Um, if you like classic movies, definitely watch it because it's usually on the top lists of every classic movie list ever. It's right up there with Citizen Kane and whatever. Gone with the Wind, which I need to see that one. But so yeah, that's all I got to say about that. And next review will be Bridge on the River Kwai. That should come up next week. And so yeah, see you next time.